Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome to the No Opinion News Network, where we give you the news and leave our opinions out the door, whichever way the door is. Anyways, welcome to our Saturday weekly update. Let me turn this down, a little monitor here. All right, we're going to do a little Saturday weekly recap, let you know what's been going on for the entire week leading up till Friday, so we know where we stand on stimulus going into next week. So let's go ahead and kick it right off with Monday. A $908 billion problem solvers caucus proposal was presented. It included $300 federal unemployment boost, and it also included the eviction protection, which also ends at the end of the month, and it had unemployment extensions for 16 weeks. So we were looking at your regular unemployment plus $300 employment boost. So, for example, say you get $300 a week for unemployment, the government was going to boost it by 300, which means you would receive $600 a week for 16 weeks. At first, it was thought that they were going to backdate it to November 1st. Well, December 1st first, then they were going to backdate it to November 1st. But now that's off the table. So the regular unemployment and the boost would go through to April 22nd, if I'm right with my times here, for 16 weeks. There is no stimulus check included in that. Bernie Sanders was not happy. He said he's not going to sign anything or vote for anything without a stimulus check. And let's see what else we got going on. But with that, it was also stated that stimulus checks were still on the table, but not for this proposal, not for this bill. They were looking at, hey, let's get this passed, and then after we get this passed, after the new year, we'll work on a stimulus check boost. At least that's what they were saying. And then we move on to Tuesday, and we find out the deadline for the federal spending bill and the stimulus bill has been pushed back to December 18th. This is something they decided to do together, and they still haven't come up with any agreements on either the spending bill or the stimulus package. So at this time, they felt, let's push it back a week so we have a little bit more time to work on it. I can tell you right now, there is so many gears turning with trying to get this done, and it's kind of scary because at this point, we are 1 week away to a possible government shutdown. Excuse me. It looked like at that time on Tuesday that most of the lawmakers were pushing for this $908 billion proposal for stimulus. But Republican Senator Josh Hawley, he urged President Trump not to sign anything that didn't have a stimulus bill attached. So now we move on to Wednesday, and it's been a really crazy, complicated week as far as stimulus goes because so many things were changing minute by minute, day by day. Good morning. Sound a little bit like Pelosi that one day. Anyways, on Wednesday, Mitch McConnell suggested, hey, let's drop the liability protection for companies and drop the state aid for the aid for local and state government, and let's pass the stimulus bill with what we know will pass because those are the two sticking points. The Problem Solvers Caucus, which is made up of both Republicans and Democrats, disagreed with Mitch McConnell, stating we have to do what we were elected to do, and that is to actually work together and find a solution. I thought that was great because it seems like they are just a bunch of kids on the playground fighting over who's it when they're playing tag. So it was kind of neat to see someone say, "Hey, we're elected by the people to do their bidding, and we just can't leave something out and not do their bidding." So that was kind of cool. And later that day, and we're still on Wednesday, a new $916 proposal was introduced from the White House, which was Steve Mnuchin, uh, Mitch McConnell, and McCarthy. And included in this $918 stimulus bill was $600 stimulus checks. But the way they did that is they took away the unemployment enhancement of the $300 a week. And from what I'm looking at, it also looks like they shortened the pandemic unemployment relief that the state gives you down to 4 weeks. So you would end up getting $1,200 plus $600, so $1,800 as opposed to $600 a week for 14 weeks. So I'm not really thinking that's the right answer. But either way, Pelosi and Schumer rejected that offer. And then we moved on to Thursday. And the only thing that really happened Thursday is Pelosi had a press conference, and basically she just said that she is really looking forward to Biden taking over as president, saying it's a new dynamic with Biden as president and the vaccine coming out. And I kind of really felt that she thinks that just because there's a new president that a new bill will pass, a new stimulus bill will pass if you present it. And as we all know, it doesn't work that way. We have to get it to pass Congress. We have to get it to pass the Senate. Then the president can sign for it. So it's really not going to happen the way that Nancy Pelosi thinks it's going to happen. Well, then, moving on to Friday, yesterday, Senator Ron Wyden says the $918 billion package would be a disaster for the working people and the people trying to find jobs. Which, yeah, I agree. I could tell you I'm affected by it. I've been laid off since the end of March, and many people like me. But there's also people who haven't been laid off, but their hours were cut, so they're making less money. So I'm a big fan of stimulus for those people, and I wish they could just work it out in a way that, hey, give stimulus to the people who need it, and give the unemployment to the people who need it. That way they can meet in the middle and take care of it that way. That's just one thing I see. I also, Stephen Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, feels that a $600 stimulus check would revive the economy and create jobs. I'm not an economist. I do read a lot of news. I do look at a lot of charts. And I can tell you there's over 20 million people. Hi, Ray. Thanks for watching. This is the first time I'm seeing this pop up. I didn't know this thing worked. And obviously now I know it does work because I can see your comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. As I was saying, Mnuchin feels that it would stimulate the economy and create new jobs. And we all know $600 is definitely not enough to create new jobs. We're down with about over 20 million people unemployed. And that's not counting the people who left the job market because their unemployment benefits ran out. So in reality, we could be looking at 30 to 40 million people unemployed from the same time last year or February of this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley, both senators, put together a separate $350 billion plan for $1,200 stimulus checks, and they want to attach that to the federal spending bill. So totally separate from the stimulus proposal, just a separate thing, and put it with the federal spending bill. That way the budget it's within the budget of the federal bill and has nothing to do with the stimulus bill, which would be a nice idea. It'd be $1,200 for the same people that got $1,200 last time. The one thing I noticed between the getting a $600 stimulus check and getting unemployment boost for 14 weeks is that the difference is only $140 billion. Sounds like a big number, but when you think of the CARES Act was $2.2 trillion, it really doesn't sound so big. But there's also one thing to note is they have $550 billion saved that wasn't spent from the CARES Act. So if you add the $140 billion to the 908, you're looking at 1,048,000,000,048. 48 and 48 billion. But you minus off the 550 and you're looking at about 500 billion to 600 billion. That's all that they would need extra to cover this a bill that would have at least a $600 stimulus check and the unemployment boost for 14 weeks. You can also say, hey, let's add another 140,000 to make it $1,200 stimulus checks. By doing this, you end up with a bill after the 550 saved of about $700 billion. So you're still under $1 trillion. And remember, the CARES Act was $2.2 trillion. So we wouldn't be adding anything close to $1 trillion onto the national deficit. So I don't know. That's just me talking here. And let me pull up something. I think I have. Yeah, right here. This is a breakdown of what's in the $908 billion plan. Looks like they have $160 billion going to state and local government. And here, this basically means they do not have an agreement because it says as the basis for good faith negotiations. So they really don't have a true agreement for that. Extension of the pandemic unemployment insurance program by 16 weeks. I think I said 14. It is 16. That's correct. So that is from the states. The PUI, that would be your regular unemployment check that you're getting from the state. And then the next line says the federal supplement unemployment would be the expanded $300 per week. So once again, and that's for 16 weeks. And then there's the Paycheck Protection Program, $300 billion for small businesses. We've got transportation funding, so this would be for airlines and stuff like that. Healthcare, vaccine development and distribution. I think we've got the development out of the way, so it'd just be distribution. So the big difference in this plan, let me drop down to the bottom here because I think there was something that was not agreed upon. And there it is, the liability for companies. It just says agreement in principle as the basis for good faith negotiation. Once again, that means that they do not have that part worked out. So looks like they've got something going on. The difference between that plan that I just showed you and the 918 is take away the employment boost and only 4 weeks of the PUI, regular state unemployment. And that's pretty much what has been going on all week with stimulus. On other news, Rudy Giuliani did test positive for COVID and he went to the hospital and he is already out. He took the same blend of drugs that Donald Trump took, and apparently that works really good, whatever it is. California went back on a lockdown on Sunday night. No indoor or outdoor restaurants. The FDA did approve the vaccine yesterday. So, what that means is we should be seeing a push for distribution probably starting today. And it's going to go to healthcare workers and residents in senior living homes. One thing that's always tied with stimulus with me is how the virus is doing. And rather than looking at the cases, I like to look at the deaths. And in the last 4 days in the United States, we had over 12,000 deaths in 4 days. So averaging over 3,000 deaths a day for 4 days. To me, that seems like there should be a little bit more sense of urgency. Let's see, 612. 1 second. Got a comment here from my bro. Exactly. Yep. I agree, Ray. Just a tiny band-aid. If somebody got a $600 or $1,200 check, I think they're going to use that for paying bills that they're behind on. I don't really think it's going to go much into the economy. Of course, a little bit will because it is Christmas time, but I think we're getting a little too late for that. It's going to be past Christmas by the time our government finally does something. But as I was saying, with over 3,000 deaths a day in the last 4 days, I think our government should be showing some type of sense of urgency because even though we have a vaccine, it's not going to be available to the general public until most likely April. And that's when it's going to start being available. And then that doesn't mean anybody who wants the vaccine can just go get vaccinated. They're going to pick the next group of people that they think can be vaccinated and the next group. It's going to be ongoing for probably through November of next year. And then finally, the thing that scares me the most about this whole thing is the stock market. I do not understand how the Dow Jones is sitting at 30,000 points. I mean, seriously, so many people out of a job, people are dying, and the Dow Jones is just way up there. And I've been watching some other economists, and they're basically saying that people are buying stocks, banking that the vaccine's going to be a cure all, and then come April, it's going to be a a huge hit, and the vaccine will work, and then the stock market's going to go even higher. But we're talking about four, we're talking about 4 more months of having to wait to see what type of effect the vaccine is going to have and if it's going to be released to the general public by April. So I I'm really suspecting that there will be some type of crash. Maybe it's going to be after Christmas when the retailers put out their numbers that sales weren't good, which is to be expected without any stimulus checks. And as my great bro pointed out to me, more deaths than 9/11. Yeah, in one day we are having more deaths than 9/11. I believe we had 2,990, if memory serves me right, from 9/11. So we're doing that every day. So, yeah, crypto has skyrocketed also. Warren Buffett apparently, and he's the man, what he's worth $86 billion dollars, just pulled out a lot of his accounts and changed them over to the gold mines, the people who find the gold, not gold in particular, but the actual people doing the digging. He invested a lot of money into that. So I would think that Might be seeing a lot of that. I personally, I've been looking at the prices of silver and gold just in case to have a little bit of backup, something that I know is not going to lose its value. But all right, well, that's what I have for you for your Saturday recap. I'm going to start doing this every Saturday morning at about 10 o'clock. If you watched, thank you for watching, Ray. Thank you. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. One more thing, if you're a boxing fan, and that's why you always see it on my videos because I'm a huge boxing fan. Heavyweight Championship of the World today. It's in the UK, so it's going to be here on TV in the afternoon on DAZN, DAZN. It's a streaming service. It's really cheap. If you want the whole year, it's $99, so $8.33. And we got Anthony Joshua fighting Kubrat Pulev. Once again, heavyweight championship of the world for IBF, WBO, WBA belts. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in. Take care. We'll see you on Monday.